Hi everyone, this is Dr. Menije, and for today I want to talk to you about self-confidence. Because the truth is, no matter where we're in life, we all have struggled with self-confidence at some point in our lives. Maybe for some of us, self-confidence gets triggered when we're starting something new in our lives, like first time we're going to college or first time we have a job. And these kinds of important life events can challenge our self-confidence. And maybe for other people, self-confidence has been an issue all their lives. So there could be a chronic lack of self-confidence. So no matter how you have dealt with self-confidence in your life, we kind of all relate to it. And more importantly, self-confidence can also lead to other mental health issues. It can exacerbate other mental health issues. We see that most people who struggle with low confidence also have codependency or people-pleasing tendencies. They may turn to alcohol or other drugs to numb these feelings of low self-esteem or insecurity. There can also be more anxiety and depression when you are dealing with low self-confidence. So for all these reasons, I want to talk to you today about how to improve your self-confidence. And there are 3 skills that I believe will relate to anybody listening to this video. So let's talk about 3 ways you can boost your self-confidence. First thing, let's start with self-compassion. This is one of the tools that's very important for us here in our practice in Embracing You Therapy, because we believe in the way that we talk to ourselves makes all the difference. So self-compassion is giving yourself the compassion, kindness, empathy, and understanding when you're going through life. Because often with low self-confidence comes a lot of self-judgment and an inner critic. So the opposite of that is self-compassion, where you are your loudest cheerleader. You are your own best friend. So when you're going through life, I want you to pay attention to how you're responding to what you're going through, how you are maybe validating or invalidating your emotions and your experiences. So start with self-compassion. We actually have a video just on that you can also check it out in the notes below. So the second tool to use when you are working on your self-confidence is to process any past event, any past experience that shaped this low self-confidence you have. So again, here in our therapy office in Embracing You Therapy, we revisit past events because we want to understand how they shape you. Often the things we go through have an impact on us, and knowingly or unknowingly from what we've been through, we make conclusions about ourselves or other people in our lives. So for example, let's say that you have applied to 5 jobs in this past year and you didn't even get an interview in any of those. You make a conclusion from those failed attempts, and often the conclusion tends to be very self-critical. It would probably say something like, I must not be smart enough, I'm not talented, I'm inadequate, I'm incompetent, I'm a failure, I'm never going to get my dream job, I'm never going to get out of this debt that I'm in. So you see, these past events lead to some conclusions about ourselves, other people, or the future. So in therapy, we want to unpack these events and we want to kind of study what are some of the narratives, what are some of the stories we took away from these experiences that are causing our current low self-confidence. They are the reason why we might be having low self-love, self-confidence, and struggling with feelings of unworthiness. That's one of the ways I always explain to my clients that we're going to revisit your past only to understand how it is explaining your current feelings or your current thoughts about yourself or other people. So again, we're not just traveling to the past for sake of going through the memory lane. It's really to unpack any unpleasant, difficult, and often failed experiences that are causing your current low self-confidence. The third tool to practice when you want to boost your self-confidence has to do with boundaries. And boundaries, honestly, is one of my favorite words, and my partner, my husband, tends to make fun of me about that. But the truth is, I genuinely value boundaries in my life, and I wanted to share that with you. When it comes to boosting your self-confidence, I want you to think about how you are practicing boundaries And you might want to start from the beginning. You might want to start with identifying what healthy boundaries mean. What would they look like? Especially if you grew up with a family that didn't model healthy boundaries. It really is something that we have to teach ourselves as adults. And there are wonderful books and podcasts that you can start with. And then in therapy, you really want to start understanding and visualizing and putting it together for yourself. Because the other thing about boundaries that is so related or linked to self-confidence is because when we have self-confidence, we are more secure and we are more stronger at speaking up and advocating for ourselves. And that's why people who lack confidence can have people-pleasing tendencies and codependency, because they're afraid. They are too shy or too afraid, too timid to set their boundaries and speak up and say no to people, or even have healthy confrontation. So again, when we want to do the opposite, meaning we want to improve our self-confidence, then we also have to work on our boundaries, focus on how we want to assert our needs, and we want to point out when something is hurting our feelings or something is not going the way we want them to go. So again, these are 3 things I would highly encourage you to consider when you are working on your self-confidence and underlying feelings of not being enough or unworthy is practicing self-compassion, opposite of self-critic, working on those past events, past traumatic events that have shaped your feelings of unworthy, and last but not least, address your boundaries and develop those healthy boundary skills that we all need in order to treat ourselves and other people in our lives fairly and kindly. I hope you find this video helpful, and make sure that if you have any questions, any comments, share them below and I will personally respond to you. And here at Embracing You Therapy, we're always here to connect with you, so please reach us out if you have any questions regarding